Welcome to another episode of Health, Wellbeing Lifestyle, where professionals in their fields come on to our show and educate the community, inspire them to live healthier lives, feel more balanced and live a lifestyle they love. Today our first guest is Helen Mack, and she's here to talk to us about optimising outcomes, and she is an optimising outcomes coach, so it's perfect. Helen, what made you come up with that idea?
Thanks for asking that, Linda. My background is in psychology initially, and I did a lot of work in corporate organisations and organisations of a variety of sizes, working on how do we get good outcomes from people and from individuals. My passion is actually optimism, and that attitude is what drives all of my work. But optimising outcomes is more outcome focused. So it takes the concept of optimism, which is an attitude or an approach, and it gives people some ways to approach their lives, their businesses, their relationships, their communities, to get better outcomes for themselves and for others. And it was driven from many moons ago when I was young. My mouth turned down when I was at rest. So I always looked a little bit unhappy. And so lots of people would sort of say to me, "Are you okay, Helen?" I'm like, "Fine." What I learned to do was tell my face. Have you ever met someone like that who's perfectly happy but they forget to tell their face? So I learned to smile, and I learned to teach myself how to have a happier approach. But happiness is temporary. Optimism and optimising outcomes is more grounded and more long-lasting. So I've now done a lot of research into the power of optimism and why that's an important part of the puzzle for people to get better results, whether that be in their health, in their lifestyle, in their business, whatever part of their life that they want to make changes. And there's really, in more recent times, I've developed a 3-step process for taking you from what am I going to do to what's the best possible outcome. How can I optimise this situation, or how can I maximise this opportunity? And that's, we have to go from thinking that something's not possible to moving to asking what's possible, and then moving through making choices to create best possible outcomes. So it's really a journey of inside yourself. And regardless of whether you're trying to make better choices about some part of your lifestyle, whether you're trying to boost your business results, or whether you're wanting your community to have a better outcome, if we take these 3 steps, we can all end up with better results.
Well, what happens with our brains? You talked about the not possible aspect. What happens with our brains when we say something's not possible?
Well, this is the really tricky part, of course, because as soon as we say something's not possible, our brain agrees with us and basically kind of closes down. So it says, oh, if you think this is not possible, then I'm not going to look for anything to help you with that. It literally goes on a holiday. It says, well, I'm done. This is not possible for you. I'm out. And so the challenge of that for us in whatever our goals are is that we're closing off opportunities. So one of the key pieces of optimising outcomes is creating opportunities. So let me give you an example from my personal life. Why is this so important to me at the moment? About 6 years ago, my husband was diagnosed with a terminal, incurable, only partly treatable condition. Very rare blood disease. My husband was always very special, and so he had a very special disease as well. So what that did was created a whole lot of not possibles. One of the not possibles was that our happy ever after was gone. We were going to live forever, die in our 90s, skiing off the edge of a black run, having heart attacks, tumbling down to the bottom of the ski run. All of our happy ever after was gone. We were faced with a heap of not possibles, things that were not possible for him to do or not possible for us to do. But if we stayed in that place, we would not have been able to move forward. Instead, we asked ourselves, what's possible? So that then sent us down arms of doing research. What's possible in terms of treatment? What's possible? Who's the best doctor? What's possible for him in terms of his activity, his abilities? What can he do, not what can't he do? And so that what possible question was critical to the process. It also meant that we had conversations about what might be possible for me going forward, because we knew that there was no happy ever after. He wasn't going to be here forever anymore. What was possible for me going forward? And so that opened things up.
And I suppose when you talk about that, what's possible, it's not only the thinking, it's the whole language and the communication you're having with everybody else.
With everyone in your world. And so regardless of what kind of relationship you're in or what your goals are, asking what's possible allows people in to help you. So you get better support if you say to people, here's what I'm trying to do, what's possible in terms of how you could reach out and help me. And so we had great support all the way through Lachlan's illness, and sadly, well, we lost that battle 3 years ago. But it meant that we had all kinds of conversations about how I would go forward. And I was in a community where people would come to me and say, how can I help? And what they were asking really was, what's possible for me to do to help you on this journey? So the what's possible piece just opens us up to possibility and to opportunity, which is just a beautiful place to operate from.
So how do we get the best possible results for our viewers out there who might be thinking, oh, well, I don't understand this, not possible?
Yeah. So once we've gone to what's possible, the lovely part about that is that we can then develop a range of options. We can look at what's possible in terms of time, resources, people available to support, money, where you live, all of those sorts of things allow us to gather options. And then we simply use a variety of prioritising techniques. One of the simplest ones is to, if you've got a long list of things and you're trying to choose, just look at 2 of them, choose which one you like best, and then just add 1 more in. People often look at a long list, oh my God, what am I going to do first? Just look at them in pairs, and by doing that, you'll be able to quickly decide which is the best possible for you right now. So best possible doesn't mean best possible forever. Best possible doesn't mean the only thing you're going to do. It's simply, what's the best use of my time and resources right now? And by having that approach, we will make better choices for ourselves and be able to consciously move forward into this idea of optimising the outcomes in your life, in your business, in your world.
Oh, thank you, Helen. And this is the first in a series of interviews with Helen. The next time she'll be back with Creating Clarity. And for more information on Helen Mack and optimising outcomes, then please go to her webpage on our website, healthwellbeingandlifestyle.com.au. And now we'll go to break, and after break we'll be back with another interesting guest and topic. And now our next guest is Diana Jacobson, who is a wealth advisor and is here today to talk to us about unlocking the wealthy you. Welcome, Diana.
Thank you, it's lovely to be here.
Just discovering the wealthy us inside, what do you suggest would people need any special tools or things to go to do that?
So let me explain this. The main thing we need is a magic wand. Okay, so to unlock the wealthy you, we're not just talking about finance and money and material things. We're talking about holistic wealth, that sense of well-being within us. So our health, our happiness, relationships, fun, love, laughter, our choices, freedom, opportunities, doing the things that we enjoy, hanging out with the people that are fun, whether it's walking in nature, hobbies, art, music, all of those sorts of things that we want to do that make our life feel great and make us feel wealthy. Because I know it sounds really cosmic, but people think that when I have money, then I'll be wealthy, but it actually works the other way around. And when we feel wealthy over all of those small things, when we feel abundance and prosperity with all of those small facets of our life, then we kind of magnetise and draw other things to us, and we can start to build that. So I suggest if people get their magic wand and say, how would I like my life to look? Who is the wealthy me? How do I want to be? How do I want to feel? What does that entail? And start to have some fun with that. So the wand is to jump ahead of all the limitations. So I'm too old, I'm too young, I don't have enough money, I don't have the right education, or somebody won't like it, and then start to build that picture so that we can create it.
Could anyone do this alone?
Well, look, we need a team, and then we build the team around us. The same as with building a house, we have, carpenters and tilers and plumbers and electricians and painters and so on. We need the team of people to do the things that they're good at so that we can do the things that we're good at. So when it comes to financial and legal and business and all of those sorts of things that all of us need to take care of, households, individuals, families, business owners. We need to take responsibility for those things. So it's about building that team of those people that are our advisors and our mentors in the areas and working with them. So look at who we know about. So traditionally we know about the accountant. We know that we go to the accountant and normally that's to get our tax return done once a year. What we don't know is that perhaps we need to work with them on a more longer term strategy, whether that's around capital gains tax for future, whether it's GST, whatever's relevant to us. But what we need to know about the financial services regime in Australia now is that it's very narrow, and accountants can only talk about tax and not about superannuation, for instance, or lending or legal or other things. So therefore we do need a financial planner, and people think that they only need a financial planner when they have money, because that's what you do. However, we need a financial planner to look after our money. Predominantly they look after our superannuation. So most people will have a superannuation fund from a job at some point. And there are always fees in superannuation, contrary to some of the advertising. So it's important that we make informed choices about what our super is invested in, what it's costing us. And something that a lot of people don't know is that there's insurances held in superannuation, personal insurances, things like life insurance, income protection and disability insurance. And that can be really beneficial and cost effective because a lot of families are underinsured because they don't have the cash flow, but they don't realise it can be through their super. You also need a solicitor, which historically people have had just to do their wills. They do them once, they park them there for 20 or 30 years and they don't revisit them again. They really should be looking at them a little bit more often. Have the understanding that a normal garden variety will doesn't cover a lot of the business entities. So if you've got a company or a family trust or something like that, and superannuation has its own rules. So just be mindful that the will that people set up years ago may not be relevant for their circumstances now. And also ask the question of your advisor there, your solicitor, around young children, so guardianship, testamentary trusts, so that assets are not handed direct to minor children or to anyone under a disability or just someone that you mightn't want to hand the capital to, but they can benefit from the proceeds of that for their welfare. And powers of attorney is another thing that people need to have in place, but they often don't. And that's something that acts while you're still alive, so someone else can make decisions for you if necessary. A lot of the time people just have their spouse make those, hold that power of attorney. But if you're going to be travelling overseas or travelling in a car, chances are you'll be with your spouse, so have someone else as well. Debt is a big part. Loans brokers. Have debt restructured. A lot of our leakages that erode the wealthy us come through poorly managed, poorly structured debt. And there are a lot of ways that our mortgages, business loans, car loans and credit cards could be better set up, more tax effective, more cost effective. So get some good advice on that. And insurance brokers similarly, so general insurances, your house, your car, your contents, your business, make sure that that's covered properly. And the big kicker with this team is to have someone that leads it. So individually, this won't be the thing for most people. They won't want to do this. They won't want to understand it and they won't want to know all the details, and nor should they. That's what those specialists are there for. But find someone in that team that can lead that team and get that integrated and cohesive, because where I see a lot of the leakages are all of these disparate pieces of advice, but nobody gets them to meet in the middle. So there's not the cohesion in that strategy and structure.
And Diana, could you give us an example of maybe a case study or someone that has been helped in this way?
Certainly. So a phone call might be around managing money. And in that would be, what are your tax entities? And have you done your tax returns? Have you prepared for capital gains tax or something down the track? Are you on track with GST or whatever might be relevant there? But then there are also the things in there. Superannuation, is that being looked after? Are the insurances in place? For a family that might be eligible for Centrelink, there'll be things like family tax benefit or perhaps a disability support pension. Or for older people, pre-retirement, so not to leave any of that planning till the last minute so that the financial planner can get things in place for any eligibility for age pension and later on for aged care. Obviously in that comes estate planning, as well, so that's a solicitor, and making sure the wills and so forth are up to date, and people looking to clear out their home mortgage or make sure that they're not having leakages unnecessarily through that field. So there's your loans broker. And obviously we all have insurance over our properties, and there's your insurance broker. So for one conversation about how can I retain more of my money, how can I make sure that my affairs are sorted and that I don't have to think about them and I'm going out doing my fun stuff, straight away there's 5 different qualifications needed to have that conversation about how to plug the gaps and retain more of your wealth, protect your assets, minimise tax, maximise your cash flow, and not have to think about it.
What would you say that people could take away? What would be your top tip for them to take away today for the viewers out there?
Is not to make it too hard. Like, have some fun with the magic wand with how do I want this to look, and how do I want to be as the wealthy me in all aspects of life. Find the team that you trust and can communicate with, but take the first step. When you take one step towards a goal, the universe will bring that goal one step towards you.
Thank you, Diana. That's just wonderful. For more information on Diana, please go to our website. Welcome back. We have John here today, who is a remedial therapist, and he's here today to talk to us about corporate massage. So welcome, John.
Thanks, Linda.
Now, what would you say are the top benefits of massage in the workplace?
Massage therapy for an individual is a major component of their physical well-being. So wellness and staff well-being is a really important topic these days. A lot of organisations are investing in staff wellness. So to have physical therapy at the workplace for people gives them the opportunity for physical change in their body, which can lead to de-stress, a mental refresh, and a real chance to refocus going forward for the rest of the day. A lot of people, when they have access to a table massage in the workplace, it's generally back, soreness, shoulders, neck, usually go for a back, shoulders, neck sequence of massage. People, they get bad posture habits over a period of time, especially sitting at a desk looking at the screen all day, so puts a lot of stress on the muscles in the back and the shoulders. So I like to get a good release through the shoulders and neck, and really helps people feeling a lot lighter when they leave their treatment, and a bit refocus going forward for the rest of the day.
So what would be the difference then between, say, if people were in the workplace, can they be on a table or is it better in a chair? What's the recommended way?
Sure, so 2 ways you can go about workplace massage. Obviously, the table massage is a bit longer, drawn out sort of treatment, but the seated massage is something a lot of places go for, especially in a corporate environment. It's a lot more accessible to have more people come through that in the time frame. So seated massage certainly has its benefits as well. Gives people the opportunity to get away from their workspace and turn their brain off for a little bit. It's still got the element of human touch, which goes towards some relaxation, and obviously all that together goes towards a mental refresh, and it's either way, massage can be an uplifting experience for somebody, and certainly something people look forward to when they're off to work that day, to have that supplied for them.
Yeah. Oh, that's fantastic. And what would you encourage people to take on corporate massage, or any sort of massage, really, isn't it?
Sure.
Yeah. What would be the difference between corporate and other massage, for instance?
So corporate massage, a lot of people involved in a high stress, high pressure environment, so it's good to encourage people to get away from their workspace for even if it's a brief period of time in the day, and help them refocus, as well as having some de-stress and physical change in their body. It's not just for corporate environment. A lot of people on the tools and these sorts of things, they can develop muscle tension as well as stress. So massage certainly works in any situation, whether it be in the office, people on the computer desk, or on the tools.
Do you have a tip for anyone out there who, for instance, about massage, or what would be your absolute top tip, for instance?
For massage, I would say have it. If you don't have access to it, try and do that. It's a major component for people's physical well-being, but you can't underestimate how much a good, strong treatment can contribute to a positive mindset for an individual. And if a lot of people in the one workplace can access that, it certainly contributes to a happy work environment.
And for more information on John or corporate massage, please go to our website. Thank you very much. And we look forward to seeing you next week here on Health, Wellbeing and Lifestyle. Thank you.